Good morning. It's Thursday, May 14th, an hour before our Zoom meeting. And this morning, I'm going to read you another one of my very favorite stories. I know I say that a lot, but this one really is one of my favorites. It's a spring story, and it's called Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mole, written by Jane Yolen and illustrated by Catherine Brown. Here's the title page. And there's a dedication page for Frankie after her first spring. You don't always get a picture on the dedication page. Okay, so this story starts out underground. There were once 3 sisters who lived at the bottom of a deep, dark hole. Their names were Eeny, Meeny, and Miny Mole. In that hole, dark was light, day was night, and summer and winter seemed the same. Sometimes the sisters went to bed at dusk and rose at dawn. Sometimes they went to bed at dawn and rose at dusk. And sometimes they never went to bed at all. That will happen when dark is light and day is night and summer and winter seem the same. One time, when Eeny was out burrowing on the left side of the hole, she met a worm who told her the most astonishing thing. She hurried back to the hole, leaving a trail of dirt behind. I have just heard the most astonishing thing, she announced to her sisters. I have heard that up above, which is what they called the world on top of the ground, things are both dark and light. Nonsense, said Meeny. Oh, silliness, said Miney. Don't trust passing worms, they said together. Then they went to bed and pulled the covers up over their heads because they didn't want to even think about light. But Eeny could not sleep. She wandered around the hole, thinking about light. She wondered if it was big or little, if it was round or long. She wondered if light spread from corner to corner up above like a blanket, or if it just touched in and out like the thread in the hem of a dress. She thought all these new and complicated thoughts for hour after hour. She was still thinking when her sisters got up. Another time, when Eeny went out burrowing on the right side of the hole, she met a centipede who told her the most astonishing thing. She hurried back to the hole, leaving a trail of root snips behind. I have just heard the most astonishing thing, she announced to her sisters. I have heard that up above there is both day and night. Nonsense, said Meeny. Silliness, said Miney. Don't listen to addle-pated centipedes, they said together. Then they went to the kitchen and dipped their noses into their soup bowls and snuffled up tubers so they didn't have to think about day. But Eeny could not eat. She wandered around the hole, thinking about day. She wondered if day was short or tall, if it was quiet or loud. She wondered if day was sharp like hunger or soft like sleep. She thought all these new and complicated thoughts for hour after hour. She was still thinking long after her sisters were full. The next time Eeny went out burrowing on the underside of the hole, she met a snake who told her the most astonishing thing. She hurried back to the hole, leaving a trail of bark behind. I like this picture. I have just heard the most astonishing thing, she announced to her sisters. I have heard that up above there is both summer and winter. Nonsense, said Meeny. Silliness, said Miney. Never ever even speak to snakes, they said together. Then they went into the living room and began to play checkers. Meeny with the red pieces and Miney with the black, so they didn't have to think about summer and winter. But Eeny could not play. She wandered around the hole thinking about summer and winter. She wondered if they were low or high, if they were young or old. She wondered if they were damp and clumpy like the dirt on the underside of the hole, or dry and crumbly like the dirt near the top. She thought all these new and complicated thoughts for hour after hour. She was still thinking when Miney won the third game. The very next time Eeny went out, she didn't burrow to the right or to the left of the hole. She didn't burrow under or behind. She burrowed up and up, thinking astonishing and frightening thoughts until she broke through the crumbly top and right into the up above. She stuck her nose into up above. She stuck her head into up above. She heaved her whole body into up above and walked around. Light did spread from corner to corner like a blanket above her, but it also touched in and out of tall trees like a thread. Day was sharp, but the shadows were soft, and she liked the way they curved around into night. There was a strange moistness to the air, a little like tears, that was sometimes warm and sometimes cold. She could not tell if it was winter or summer or something in between, but there was a murmur all around of bees and trees, of showers and flowers, of tadpoles and tide pools and crinkly grass. The murmur turned into a name. Spring! Eeny smiled. Then she went back to her hole, digging down and down, leaving a trail of dirt and grass snips and bits of fresh bark behind. Day is nice, she said out loud, and light. I am glad to have visited both. They are new and complicated, and someday I will meet summer and winter as well. She sighed and kept digging down and down. A bright yellow flower, as sweet as a murmur, clutched in one paw. But just wait till I tell my sisters about spring. That's the end. Wasn't that a cool story? I love the pictures of the underground home they live in. And that was so brave of Eeny to go exploring up into the up above where she had never been before. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story, and I will see you guys in an hour if you're coming onto the Zoom meeting. And pretty soon, it's the last day of school.